Good morning, scientists. Today we are going to be working on two ideas with plants. One is pollination and the other is seed dispersal. Maybe that's a word you haven't heard yet. So let's go ahead and take a look at our target and see what we're going to do today. So today we're going to learn how pollen moves and how seeds get dispersed. Now, the word dispersed might be a new word to you. That just means how do seeds get moved? So we're going to learn how pollen moves and how seeds get moved so that I can understand how pollination and seed dispersal help plants reproduce. I will know I've got it when I can describe the pollination process and two ways seeds are dispersed or moved. So we're going to learn how pollen moves, and then we're also going to learn how seeds move today. So let's take a look first with this picture. Have you ever observed a bee sitting on a flower and wondered what is the bee doing? What is happening in this picture? So we're actually looking at the middle of a flower, and we're looking at the seed-like area, and the bee is busy doing something. So I want you to think about that. What is that bee doing? What's happening in this picture? So we are going to learn more about that bee and what's happening with that bee. We're going to go to Generation Genius, and we're going to watch a video that is about pollination and seed dispersal. Remember, seed dispersal just means how seeds move. Now, on this website, there is a DIY activity, and there's also a song. But I want you to save that for later because we won't have enough time to do that now. As you watch our video, I want you to be thinking about this. What needs to happen so a plant can reproduce? What needs to happen so we can get more plants? So you're going to pause my video. You're going to go to the link for Generation Genius. But once you get there, let me show you what you'll be doing. So on Generation Genius, once you get to the website, you're going to see a video called The Pollinators. And like I told you, this is about pollination and seed dispersal. So just click right here and learn more about pollination and seed dispersal. Remember the DIY activity. You can listen to it, but we don't have time to do it right now. And also the song, you can listen to it, but you can come back to it later and listen to it again. Okay, so when you're finished watching this video, you'll go back to Miss Colson's teaching video. Okay, so now that we've learned about pollination and seed dispersal, let's move on. Let's move on to our vocabulary today. I've actually given you two words today that I want you to become familiar with. The first one is called a pollinator. That's any animal that moves pollen from one plant to another. Any animal. We usually see insects doing that, but sometimes birds move pollen, bees, butterflies, grasshoppers. Seed dispersal is the process of moving seeds from one place to another. And we're going to find out how seeds move and how pollen gets moved from one plant to another. So pollination, so you might remember from the video that the pollen is on the anther. And so when she touched the anther in the video, she got that pollen on her finger. Well, insects do the same thing, but then the pollinator will move that pollen to the stigma because it's just stuck to their legs, maybe even their wings, and they're going to move it from the anther to the stigma. And here's another picture so we can see it as well. The anther and then the stigma, and this is a pollinator, this is a grasshopper, and they're just moving that anther, moving the pollen from the anther to the stigma and from one flower to another. And that's what we call a pollinator. And this is the process of pollination. Now, seed dispersal. Seeds get moved by people animals, wind, water, and they burst or explode. So I want you to take a look at the chart with me today. How do seeds travel? People, you and me. We plant seeds. Gardeners plant fruits and vegetables. The farmers plant seeds. So people help move seeds. Also, we kind of do this as well. Animals. Seeds stick to fur and feathers. If you've ever been out in the weeds, playing maybe out in the wooded area, you might get a burr on your shirt, maybe on your pants, and that burr gets stuck until you pick it off. Well, once you pick it off and you drop it on the ground, you've moved the seed. You got it over here in the wooded area, and then when you picked it off your pants, you then dropped it into a new area. Animals are the same way. Animals will get these burrs stuck in their fur or in their feathers. And then I know when my dog has had one on his fur, then he lays on the ground and rolls around. And then the burr comes off, the seed comes off. Also, animals eat fruit and there's seeds in the fruit and they digest them. And then as you saw in our video, the animals poop and the seeds come out. Some animals bury seeds in the ground. I've been seeing a few acorns already. That means the squirrels are going to take an acorn from a tree and move it somewhere else. And when they do that, then they plant the seed somewhere else. The wind will move seeds. Has anyone ever seen one of these that we call a helicopter? Some seeds are shaped like parachutes or helicopters. And I have a tree that these will fall from soon. And they just fly down in the air like this. And they do look like a helicopter. They are light and they float in the wind. The seeds land and grow in a new place. Has everybody ever picked up one of the dandelions and blown on it? And then you see the seeds blowing? Or even if the wind picks up some of the seeds, you'll see them blowing away. Also, some seeds will float on water. And a perfect example of that is a coconut. These are little coconuts in the water. And Miss Best has a coconut that she always lets me borrow. This is a seed. This is a seed that floats, can float in the water. It has air pockets inside, and it helps it to float, just like maybe your float in the pool when you put air in it. And then seeds will wash up on the shore and they'll move to somewhere else. So this is a coconut and it's a seed. And then also the last one is by bursting. Now I'm going to show you something that is that I just found in my yard. Because when I went outside yesterday and was watering my flowers, I noticed that these flowers had dried up. And then I'm always so curious, you guys know that. So I opened it up, and inside I have found some seeds. Let me see if I can get this one open. Some tiny, tiny seeds in here. And they're kind of difficult to see, but there's some tiny, tiny seeds inside there. Also, I saw this one on a flower this morning too. The flower's all dried up, but there's going to be some new seeds in there that will get dropped on the ground, and maybe an animal will pick them up and move them. Maybe they will go ahead and grow where they're at. Maybe the wind will blow it away. But seeds also can burst. There are certain flowers that they'll just burst open, and then the seeds just go somewhere else. Seeds burst when they are ripe and ready. When it is touched, the seeds burst open and they spray everywhere. It's called a seed explosion or expulsion. They'll just bust open. So today, for working on your own, we're going to just go right back to the Generation Genius site, and I'll have that link below. And when you get there, we're going to read about science. So let me show you what you'll do on your own. This is to help you practice, getting some reading practice. So you saw the video earlier. We just want to scroll on down, and you want to go to the reading material. So if you click there, you're going to see there's information about pollination and seed dispersal. So I just want you to read a little extra today and learn more. Right here is a picture of those seeds that I was talking about that will blow off the dandelions. But I want you to read a little bit more today. Also, if you have time, at the very bottom, there's vocabulary. If you click the button, then you can quiz yourself on words. And this will be very helpful because we are going to take an exit ticket today. And you can practice vocabulary that you will probably see on that exit ticket. Okay? So just to gain more information about seeds. And this one kind of is like the hook. So look at the pictures, read the text, practice the vocabulary. And that's what you'll work on your own today. Don't forget, you'll just click the Generation Genius link that I have listed in your classwork. Now, let's talk about our Google Meet. So remember, I had asked you, how does that bee help move the pollen? So I hope you've been thinking about that during our video today and during your reading. Also, how can a maple seed is a helicopter, how can that seed move from place to place? And this is what we will discuss during our Google Meet today, okay? Now, after our Google Meet, you will have an exit ticket, and it's called Pollination and Seed Dispersal Quiz. I guess it's actually a quiz, not an exit ticket. And I definitely want you to pick the best answer, and then you'll have a short answer question to complete. So I'm going to show you what that'll look like, and we'll do that after we do our Google Meet. So it'll look like this, okay? So I will see you guys at our Google Meet today. And remember, we want to talk more about pollination and we want to talk more about seed dispersal when I see you.